Commander Vethral stood atop the scorched hillside, his chitinous armor still smoking from plasma burns. Around him, the coalition forces celebrated their hard-won victory. The Korthax invasion fleet had been shattered, their ground forces routed. Bodies of both sides littered the crimson plains of Arcturus VII, and the acrid smell of burnt ozone filled the air. "It is finished," announced General Quelix through the command channel, his 4 vocal sacs thrumming with satisfaction. The humans fought well. Their casualties were acceptable. Vethral's optical clusters focused on the human contingent positioned at the rear lines. They had performed adequately during the 18-hour siege. Nothing spectacular, but solid defensive work. The humans had lost perhaps 30% of their forces, standard for such an engagement. Now they were regrouping, tending to their wounded, the usual post-battle routines. "Instruct all forces to begin casualty collection and—" Quelix's transmission cut off abruptly. A new sound rolled across the battlefield. It started as a distant rumble like thunder gathering on a far horizon. Vethral's sensory organs swiveled toward the human positions. Something was wrong. The humans weren't celebrating. They were forming up into tight formations, checking weapons with renewed intensity. Then he saw them. Dropships. Hundreds of them screaming down through the atmosphere like falling stars. They bore the same insignia as the human forces already present, but something about them was different. Darker. More predatory. "What is this?" Vethral demanded into his communicator. "The battle is won. Why do the humans deploy reinforcements now?" Captain Miller, the human liaison, appeared beside him. The small biped's face was expressionless behind his helmet visor. "Those aren't reinforcements, Commander. Those are the stormtroops." "Stormtroops? We required no such—" "You don't understand," Miller interrupted, and Vethral detected something unusual in the human's voice. Was it pity? The battle being over is exactly when they arrive. The first dropship landed with a thunderous impact that shook the ground. Its ramp dropped and figures emerged that made Vethral's blood run cold. These humans were different. Their armor was heavier, blacker, covered in kill markings and unit designations that seemed to writhe in the fading light. But it was their movement that truly unsettled him, fluid, purposeful, predatory. They moved like the apex hunters from Vethral's homeworld, creatures that knew no fear because nothing could threaten them. "Attention all coalition forces," a voice boomed across every communication channel. It was human, but deeper, rougher than any Vethral had heard. "This is Storm Corps Command. Clear the battlefield. We're going hunting." "Hunting?" Vethral turned to Miller. "But the enemy is defeated. They flee toward—" "Exactly," Miller said quietly. "They flee." Horror dawned on Vethral as understanding struck. "You pursue a routed enemy? But the galactic conventions don't apply to Storm Corps," Miller finished. "When humanity goes to war, Commander, we send 2 forces. The regular military fights the battle. The stormtroops finish the war." Across the battlefield, the stormtroops were deploying with terrifying efficiency. Vethral watched as they organized into hunter-killer teams, checking tracking equipment and loading ammunition that glowed with a sickly green light. Drones lifted into the darkening sky, and something that looked like mechanical wolves prowled between the formations. "This is barbaric," Vethral protested. "They are defeated. To hunt them across 3 cycles ago," Miller interrupted, his voice hard now. "The Korthax glassed the human colony of New Perth. 3 billion civilians. They broadcasted across every channel, laughing. They wanted us to know what they did to our children, our elderly, our sick. They wanted us to be afraid. The stormtroops were moving out now, spreading across the battlefield like a dark tide. They moved over the terrain with unnatural grace, already following trails invisible to Vethral's advanced sensors. So yes, Commander, we hunt them. We hunt them across every planet, every moon, every asteroid they try to hide on. We hunt them until there's nowhere left to run. We hunt them until every single one of them understands that humanity doesn't just fight battles. We end threats permanently." A stormtrooper passed close to Vethral's position. Through the trooper's visor, Vethral glimpsed eyes that held no mercy, no hesitation, only purpose. The trooper's armor bore a unit designation: Reaper Battalion, New Perth Memorial Division. "Your regular forces fight with honor," Vethral said slowly, understanding now why the other coalition species spoke of humans in hushed tones. These are something else." "No," Miller corrected. And now Vethral heard the steel beneath the human's words. These are what honor demands. The Korthax broke the rules of civilized warfare. They slaughtered the defenseless. Storm Corps exists to ensure that lesson is never forgotten. By now, the storm troops had vanished into the gathering darkness, following the retreating Korthax forces. Vethral's sensors picked up sporadic weapons fire in the distance, then screams that cut off abruptly. The hunt had begun. How long? Vethral asked quietly. Miller checked his datapad. Storm Corps estimate 48 hours until the last Korthax on this planet is accounted for. 72 hours until their fleet remnants are eliminated. 1 week until their high command is brought to justice. And if they surrender? Miller's expression was unreadable. They can surrender. Storm Corps accepts surrenders, but they'll stand trial for New Perth. All of them. As night fell over Arcturus VII, Vethral watched the distant flashes of weapons fire painting the horizon. The Coalition had won the battle through conventional warfare and military honor. But humanity, he now understood, fought with something deeper. A primal determination that once roused would not rest until the threat was utterly, completely eliminated. The other species fought battles. Humanity ended wars. And as the storm rolled across the planet, Vethral made a mental note to recommend to the Coalition Council that humanity be designated as preferred allied species, never to be opposed under any circumstances. The battle was indeed over. The reckoning had just begun.